And good morning to you, Ghana. Good morning to you, lovely listeners of GhanaTalks Radio. You're welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show right here on GhanaTalks Radio. This is your favorite online radio station you can carry along wherever you go. Remember that you're streaming live on Facebook at GhanaTalks Radio TV, on YouTube at GhanaTalks Radio, and also on X at GhanaTalks Radio. Do all to log on this morning, send in your comments. Let's get interactive right here on the show. This is the first segment of the morning show, and we come along with the Debbie's Grill, Today in History, and also the news review. And right here, we are bringing you all the relevant stories making waves in the news, from business to politics, from sports to entertainment. We got you covered with the most relevant stories and informed perspectives on issues that matter to you every morning right here on the show. My name is Ruth Esenam Fiagwedu, and joining me this morning in the studios I have with me Miss Regina Bless and Miss Debbie Adoso. Good morning to you ladies, and you're welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
Hope all is well.
By grace.
You're looking sweet this morning. What's the occasion? Do you have a date after work today?
Date K. Yes, true. I have a date.
Miss Debbie, I'm
With Bruno.
I'll tell you about Bruno.
I can't wait.
Debbie.
Today, both of you are twinning.
Oh, because you're wearing
Black and white.
Yeah,
You're thinking alike. How are you?
I'm good.
Hope all is well. Today, no traffic.
Not really, but getting a vehicle was kind of tough.
What's kind of tough? Yeah, going there is not a problem because my mom just left to Makati.
Oh, okay.
And within the next 15 minutes, she said she was already there. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
Uber, so.
It's very easy when you're
I
going.
said,
But
"Buddy."
Said going there, there's no traffic.
I thought. No, she said it's difficult getting a
a
vehicle.
vehicle,
Oh,
and
okay.
she is saying like when you're going.
It's easy.
It's easy.
when
It's
you're
not
going.
easy.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, you
kind
know,
of-
kind of hanka. It's not
Yeah,
easy.
yeah,
Okay.
it's true.
And also count. But I know that these days also when the traffic starts, it starts from Awoshila stop all to Banya.
Asemo.
And I wonder why.
I'm not sure it's the traffic light too.
No, it's not the traffic.
What I think the issue is the potholes when you get to Bayard, especially with the vehicles when the vehicles going to La Paz.
Oh my
Those
dear.
small potholes there. I think that is what is delaying the traffic there. And I wish the police officers could actually work without the traffic lights to allow those going towards La Paz and Odoko go more than those coming from La Paz and those coming from Kaswa as well because of the traffic light. Because of the potholes. Because you can be in that traffic light for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Now can you do? I can't do so now we're
Now, aso.
so
me-
no reach now.
I always complain. I thought it was like, should I say 2 seconds of the traffic light going before I realized that it was actually the pothole.
Yeah, it was actually the pothole. So we are urging the authorities there, the MP, the assembly members of Ablikuma North, when you get to Bayard, the middle lane that leads the cars to La Paz, there are some petty, will I say petty, there are some potholes there, and it's delaying traffic, it's giving out traffic a lot, and it's delaying workers from reaching their workplace on time. We are urging the authorities to take action. This time around, it's not the traffic lights, but it is the potholes, of which I believe that if the potholes are patched, the cars will move freely and smoothly without them taking their time to go in, go out, and then all of that. So we are urging the authorities. We want to see a change so that the traffic on the stretch will come down. Right. So, with that said, let's get into the issue of the day. Let's get into the news items we have for this morning. And this is actually the new development on the case of legal vacation and also Edu Boahen. So, on the story of Edu Boahen trial, the case has been adjourned to August 25th, pending Supreme Court decision on legal vacation. The High Court has adjourned the trial of former National Security Secretariat Director General Kwabena Edu Boahen and his wife Angela Ejay Boateng to August 25th, 2026, pending a decision by the Supreme Court on an application challenging the continuation of the case during the legal vacation. The trial was expected to continue before the vacation court, But the judge decided that proceedings should not continue while the Supreme Court considers an application seeking to restrain the High Court from hearing the case during the vacation. The application was filed by MP for Afuase Eyiribi Kojo Oponkroma and has returned date of August 20th. Before the ruling, Defense Counsel Peter Osei Asamoah, holding brief for lead counsel Samuel Atachia, had asked the High Court to adjourn the case to the next legal term. He explained that Mr. Atachia has prior professional commitments during the vacation and will therefore be unable to conduct the cross-examination. The defense argued that proceeding without the lead counsel could affect the accused person's constitutional right to adequate legal representation. The Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Rumsai, opposed the request. He argued that simply filing an injunction application at the Supreme Court does not stop the High Court from continuing a case unless the Supreme Court has actually issued an order restraining the proceedings. The judge initially rejected the arguments that Mr. Atachia's professional commitments should lead to an adjournment until October. He noted that other lawyers within the firm could potentially represent the accused persons. However, the judge took a different position regarding the pending Supreme Court injunction application. He acknowledged that there are different views in Ghanaian legal practice on whether a pending injunction application should affect proceedings in a lower court. While one position is that proceedings can continue an actual injunction is granted, the judge adopted the view that where a superior court is specifically being asked to restrain a lower court from taking a particular action, it may be appropriate for the lower court to wait for the superior court's decision. The judge therefore ruled that he could not continue hearing the Edubuahin case while the Supreme Court application seeking to stop the vacation proceedings remained pending. The case has been adjourned to August 25th at 9:30 a.m., by which the time the Supreme Court is expected to have dealt with the injunction application. So this was moved or filed by Kojo Oponkroma that lawyers should be allowed to go on vacation and certain cases shouldn't be heard. So due to that, the case of Edubuahin has been adjourned to August 25th pending Supreme Court decision on legal vacation. Ms. Debbie, is this the first time we are encountering such a problem? Hasn't legal vacation or hasn't cases been heard during legal vacations?
Well, when it has to do with law, for me personally, I feel like this is not the first time we've seen issues like this, but it wasn't that tense like what we are seeing now. It looks as if what we are experiencing now is kind of complicated because the councils involved are not trying to comply. They're not trying to comply because they feel like they are exercising their right. And then the law states that they have the right to go on vacation. And yesterday I stated that in the article governing this whole issue, they have the right to go on vacation. Their vacation comes twice, and I vividly remember that yesterday I said during the Easter, and then the longest has to do with August to September. And so it's quite sad. Maybe you've had your plans and all that, and this is coming to cancel all that. But you see, one thing I view in this whole case is the delayance of these cases. For me, it would have been better if these cases are looked into. If you're found guilty, you go and serve your jail term. If you are not, I mean, you go back to your family, and this reduces the cost, because the more they delay the cases, the more you put money into it. Because when your lawyers are coming, and I'm not sure you just go for this counsel just like that, you pay them. And so if there is delayance, it means that you're going to pay more. if there is delay, and so definitely there's going to be an issue that will pop up, and then your lawyer will have to demand something to delve more into it, bring out more materials or more evidence to support the claim. So you have to pay. Why not just deal with this issue once and for all? And this whole thing about, legal vacation and all that, the Chief Justice has the right. Yesterday I mentioned the article here that the Chief Justice he is the sole person that has the right to tell you that yes, in as much as there is a legal vacation, I can still tell you to hold on and pay attention to some of those critical cases. But if you look at the law also states that during vacation you can look into cases, okay, but not cases that are so tense, like criminal cases like that of a Dubois case that will need more hands, and then we also need more research, because these are not cases that you just go and stand in court and then start talking. No, you have to come up with documented evidence. You're not coming up with circumstantial evidence. No, those are something that is like very, very solid. So it's like, I don't know, they are trying to, shall I say they are trying to banter with the law?
Yeah, because that's what they actually
like. Because if this is what the law is stating, why not just go by the law? But the Chief Justice is also making a point that these cases, why not we just look into it once and for all, in as much as the law states that you still have the right to go on vac. And the deputy, is he? He's a deputy CJ or deputy Attorney General? Deputy Attorney General, where he also states that the fact that you're on vacation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in court. Okay, you can still be in the house, but you ensure that maybe the right document that needs to be presented are there, everything is on point and all that. So it is not as if they are trying to make this whole case like kind of very complicated for you, but it's as if this council of those accused persons have already made up their mind. And so no matter what the CJ says, no matter what the Deputy Attorney General says, no matter what someone is saying out there, they've already made up their mind. And then when you listen to Atachia, and then I think Godfrey Yeboah Damen speak, they've already made up their mind that nothing is going to change it. So long as they say they are going on VAC, they are going on VAC.
Yeah, that's what happens also.
So this whole case being adjourned, well, I feel for the accused person. So because when they how they don't have any problem more. They don't have any problem. But you, the accused person, when I like it to go much more against you. So can you people more? They should just some sacrifices are worth it.
Now they are trying to make buttress this issue with politics, and I think they've already done that. Now that the NPP actually have their reservation about lawyers hearing cases during vacation and period. And one question keep popping up, and I think I've asked that question here before, and I'll ask that again. That as a lawyer, if you know that clients and you know you are going to get justice for that client, shouldn't you be in a hurry, or shouldn't you be excited to actually get joy and then win the case? And looking at how this whole councils are going about the issue, does that mean that their clients are guilty already? That is the question who asks. Miss Regina, what do you say?
Okay, so with this whole issue of legal vacation, who's kind of saying who is to go, who is not to go, should the case be adjourned, should the case be should it be on pending? It is, should I say, it is already taking a toll on us, and they are stressing us
with legal vacation every day.
Legal vacation. So according to the law, go for your vacation from the 1st to the that is ending. 1 month. Continue, go and rest. And with what we are always saying, that sometimes with certain cases like this, you can, at the end of the case, you can decide to take a leave off. In fact, when it comes to lawyers themselves, if they like, they can take your friend is how would I put it? They can take 1 year off. No one can do anything. Aside, you are working for the government. Looking at a legal private practitioner, he or she can decide to go on 1 week and 1 month leave, 2 weeks, 1 year. No one can do anything about it. Now the issue here is, should the case be suspended or not? And finally, me, in my opinion, it has already been suspended, because they have to hear from the Supreme Court first before the case is either suspended or it continues. Now that the case has been suspended or adjourned till August 25th, now how well do we know that when we hear from the Supreme Court, or more adjourn the case? No. I'm not sure. I don't know how they would do it, but I'm not sure that day they would give a final verdict.
But if they say that the court is on a legal vacation, but you have filed an appeal to the Supreme Court, and you want the Supreme Court to give you an answer, shouldn't they also be on vacation?
Exactly, because the legal vacation, looking at the cases that needs to be run, it's just petty issues that needs to be that needs to go to court. Not these huge cases like this. And this is now so one finally petition, appeal, whatever. Who is supposed to sit in and deal with them for you? The Supreme Court is not the Chief Justice or the Assembly. So let's wait for the Supreme Court to come and tell us whether legal vacation you go or you not go. And as she said, sometimes certain sacrifices are worth it. Or you were not talking in regards for the clients. The sacrifice you talk about. As a lawyer, make sure that at the end of the day, your client's satisfaction is your priority. Because he or she is paying you for that services. And you also made a point, so does it mean that indirectly their client is guilty?
Because maybe in the case now,
exactly,
I'll be in a hurry
to finish it up. I've never seen a lawyer who is running away from their duty. So because it's taking a stress on them, they always make sure that they finish it once and for all. No more your moon safe,
and then they'll go to the next case.
Exactly,
because some cases can hold you down for like years, and you are still on that case.
Wait, so is Atacha no the lawyer for women?
Yes,
for,
the lawyer for Wuntimi and also Edubwa.
He has a question mark. Sincerely speaking,
Why?
The reason why I'm saying that was that on the final before for Wuntimi, he was out of the country.
Well, with this one,
and then he made yes. I just want to land on something, and then he made a claim that his daughter was graduating. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be there for your family. And then this is another case, and then you are nice saying that
if I was the client,
it raises some sort of question mark about you as a legal counsel.
And for me, if I was the client,
I would have I'll go for a different counsel.
Because it could be an understanding between these two.
No, what do you?
Maybe it could be.
I want to say something.
Exactly.
I want to say something.
Maybe just
you know. Edubwahin was the whole issue started during the MPP government, right? And they gave him Atacha as a legal counsel. So I'm trying to, I don't know whether you're trying to get where I'm coming from. Is it that they
connived?
Do you get
allegedly?
Allegedly,
well,
purportedly.
Well, let's see how it goes. But for me, if I was the client and I've seen I've seen how you've gone about with Wuntumi's case, and that has actually landed him to where he is today, I don't think that I'll advise myself to go in for you again with this whole delay tactics that they are all trying to play. But let's wait for the Supreme Court for them to give their verdicts, if indeed lawyers are also allowed to go on vacation, if there is a legal vacation. Let's proceed to our next news item. This is from Duncan Williams. I am not against enforcing the law. Duncan Williams on prayers against Galamsey. Founder and General Overseer of Action Chapel International, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, says his call for prayers against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey, should not be seen as opposition to law enforcement. The Archbishop explains that he believes some people involved in illegal mining and illegal gold trading are operating with what he described as powers from the other side. He said this belief informed his decision to call for spiritual support in the fight against Galamsey. His comments comes after he urged Ghanaians to pray for Ghana Gold Board, saying the institution is facing opposition from what he described as a powerful and well-established movement within the gold industry. According to him, some individuals involved in illegal gold trade have significant knowledge, influence, and network within the sector, making efforts to regulate the industry more difficult. Duncan Williams stressed that his responsibility is not to enforce Ghana's laws, but to pray for those who are responsible for enforcing them. He said the spiritual aspect of his message is based on his belief that certain forces can influence people to engage in activities that eventually harm themselves and society. He also used examples from the Bible to explain his view that what appears to be a purely physical or economic problem can sometimes have a spiritual dimension. However, he made it clear that prayer should not replace law enforcement. According to him, state institutions must continue to arrest and prosecute people who engage in illegal mining, while Christians can also pray for the authorities and individuals leading the fight. So this is from Duncan Williams, who is stressing that his responsibility is not to enforce Ghana's law, but to pray for those who are responsible for enforcing them. And I think this was this backlash actually came after he made a comment that we should pray for good board. For him, in his view, whilst we are fighting the physical aspects of Galamsey, we should also consider the spiritual aspect of it, because when it comes to illegal mining and gold trade, for him, he thinks that people consult other gods to be able to regulate their business, and which, in his opinion, he thinks that is making it difficult for Gold Board to trade and also operate its business. Miss Debbie. I think yesterday when this whole news popped up, I was like, why can't men of God be men of God and should not involve themselves in politics? When it happens like that, we don't actually get to, have that trust or even believe them if they are preaching and they sort of use government as an example, trying to play politics in church as well. Yeah, so he has come to clarify. What do you think?
So everyone might draw a different meaning to what he said. And personally, we have this, yes, it's true, we have the both physical and spiritual aspect as well. Maybe he saw something. Duncan Williams is one of the men of God I really admire in Ghana and respected so well. He's not those kind of men of God that you see him talking like often. So when he comes out to say something, well, it is Demas. You get what I'm trying to put across. So yes, maybe the physical aspect is tough, but why not consult the spiritual realm and see that the hand of God is able to do exceedingly above our thoughts and imaginations. So what if they pray and then, God sustain them spiritually whilst the work is being done physically? But that being said, spiritual alone is not enough. So we can pray. It's just like you being a student and then you pray for wisdom and knowledge without learning. You don't expect God to, descend from heaven like what we've been seeing in movies, take your paper and start writing for you. No. Spiritually, you pray for knowledge and understanding. That is because you are praying to God that help me when I take my book to study. It sticks here. Because at the day I'll be sitting at the exam hall to write, I'm not writing with a book. I'm writing from my head. So if you don't give me a retentive memory, I will fail. So I don't just pray. I pray and I learn. You don't pray without learning and then you go and sit in the exam hall expecting angels to be ascending and descending and giving you assets. You will fail. And that is the same thing with this. So we can pray. And you see, one thing I always tell myself is that God has given everybody wisdom. Wisdom to think. So you see, with this issue about Galamsey and all that, I think the first one he brought up was to pray concerning Galamsey and all that. And I told myself that we can pray, but if the leaders who are supposed to ensure that the right thing is being done are not doing it, God cannot descend from heaven to tell us what to do. God will not go to this Galamsey side to arrest these kingpins. God will not arrest the financiers behind these people that goes into our forest reserves and onto our water bodies to destroy them. So the leaders who we voted for, the leaders which we entrusted power into their hands, if they are refusing, excuse me to use this word, if they are refusing to think,
of course they are refusing to think.
If they are refusing to think, there is nothing prayer can do. Sincerely speaking, there is nothing, because even if you pray, God will give you wisdom to delve with that issue. But even if God gives you that wisdom and you're refusing to act on it, you don't expect God to come and be lashing you at this age of yours. You know what to do. So with this issue about we praying, they can even declare fasting for the whole country. We can pray like 1 month. But if the right thing is not being done, it's a waste of time. Instead, I heard the president speak. I was like, okay. I was like, it will come to that. That's why I don't want to go there. So let me just talk about what you asked me. So about the prayers, yes, we can pray, but prayer comes with action. They said faith without action is what is dead.
It's dead.
So I can have the faith that I want to become this, but when I don't work towards it, it's just like me pouring water on a stone. There is nothing profitable that will come out from that. So we can organize all the pastors in Ghana. In fact, when we talk about Africa countries that have one more pastors, it's Ghana.
Of course,
everybody's
Ghana.
A prophet, everybody's a pastor, everybody's a reverend. But when it comes to the challenges, they still persist. Why? We are praying, but we are refusing to act. We are refusing to take action. We are refusing to arrest these people. We are refusing to do the right thing. One to me is not only the EO, it's not only the kingpin. Okay? And as much, you see, when they arrested Moon to me, a lot of people were happy. But Galamsey is still ongoing.
Galamsey is still ongoing.
Yes, it should tell you that Moon to me, the fact that you've arrested Moon to me doesn't mean that Galamsey has come to a halt. We need to put in more energy, more effort. Declare state of emergency. Kill and shoot. You said you would. So right now, what should we do? Okay, we are watching. Whatever will be the outcome, we are watching. But don't forget that they've now entered into a Tiwa forest.
I check that. Mrs. Gina, prayer is the key.
Prayer is the key.
Like William says, we should pray. Mrs. Debbie said, prayer with action.
There's no doubt that prayer actually answers all things, and prayer is the master key. But as she said, prayer with actions, and she made an example. But let me add mine.
Okay.
There's no way you are asking God to bless you. You want to be successful and you are just home doing nothing. How should God bless you? How do you want him to bless you with that money? He blesses us through what we do with our hands. And at the end of the day, it will be successful. So if you are praying to God, God, give me money, God, give me money, and the only thing you do is sit in the house, eat, be on your phone, laughing, quick, then you sleep. How will that money come to you? So this should tell you that when you are praying to God for something, add wisdom. Pray to God that he should also give you wisdom. Because if you don't have that wisdom, you can't do a lot of things. You would, excuse me to say, you would act foolishly. Let me put it that way. Now back to what our pastor is saying. Or should I say, Daddy in the Lord is saying. He's not our pastor. So let me say, Daddy in the Lord. What he's saying, I wouldn't say he's wrong for saying that, but he's wrong for saying that.
Oh, why?
Oh, he's wrong for saying that. I understand the fact that according to him or according to some belief, Galamsey has its own spiritual aspect, because we've seen videos of these Chinese individuals performing some rituals on the grounds where they want to take mine, or in cocoa, candles, a whole lot of nasty things. So fine, we have the spiritual aspect of it. Now you praying to God, what should God come and do? where they are mining, doesn't it have their god?
Hey,
They have their god.
Yeah.
Just recently, one I've forgotten the town. A town invoked curses on the land, calling to them. They are calling the god to come and fight the people. Your friend is saying involved in illegal mining. And excuse me to say, I was like, this is a joke. If you are to invoke whatever to call on your god, then I don't understand. God says he will punish anyone who, your friend is saying, who blaspheme. One can say call on me and I would punish those people. He said he will punish those people. He will never forgive those people. He has taken action by himself. And in your tano, in your yiri, in your whatever. The gods, they are silent. They are not doing anything. Illegal mining will not stop anytime soon. If you are to add prayers to it, the people mining there are humans. They are physical. The machines they are using, it's a physical machine. They don't have spiritual excavator. They don't have spiritual chamfine. They don't have spiritual shovel or whatever that they use in these activities. They use their real body, their physical beings to do that. So we should put measures in place to make sure that these people stop what they are doing. If the measures are failing, what do you have to do? In this country, everyone is crying for two things. Either your friend is saying state of emergency, and our madam is saying shoot to kill. Hey, catch them, shoot and kill them. Simple as ABC. They will stop.
Right, on the issue of Galamsey, President Mahama announces new strategy to keep Galamseyers out of reclaimed forest reserves. President Mahama says government will now keep military personnel in forest reserves after illegal miners have been removed to prevent them from returning. The president said the new approach became necessary because the previous method of clearing forest reserves and handing them back to the Forestry Commission had not been effective. In some cases, illegal miners returned to the same areas after enforcement team had left. Under the new arrangement, military detachments will remain in the reclaimed reserves to protect them for renewed encroachment. The president acknowledged that this will come with additional costs, including feeding the soldiers and providing logistics for their continued presence. He, however, insisted that the government will not abandon the fight against illegal mining. At the same time, President Mahama said government does not want to completely stop mining because the sector has potential to create jobs and support local economies. He said the focus should instead be on formalizing mining activities, ensuring that operators are properly licensed and regulated, while preventing illegal and environmentally destructive mining. The president pointed to the Cardinal mine in the Upper East region and the Black Bottom mine development in the Upper West region as examples of how properly regulated mining can create employment. The government's position, therefore, is to fight Galamsey while creating a more organized mining sector that can provide jobs without destroying Ghana's forests and water bodies. So these are the new strategies that President Mahama has outlined to avoid Galamseyers from returning to already reclaimed forest reserve, where he mentioned that they are going to deploy military personnel in the forest. Ms. Regina, have we seen this before? We've not seen it before. I think for the previous administration.
For the previous administration, we've seen it, and I think during this administration also we've also seen it, and I think it's still ongoing, where some of these military personnel are being deployed to this Galamsey sites and all that, and we've also seen instances where this illegal miners face off with the military men. Now, my issue is this is not a new thing under the sun. This is something we've seen day in and day out. The past administration did it. this current administration is also doing it. I'm not saying that the fact that the past administration did it doesn't give them the right to also do it. They can do it. Anything to end galamsey is what we are looking for. Now the issue is, for how long are we going to do this? Are they going to be on site 247? Are they creating their homes there? Because if you are creating your homes there, that is understandable, because you would be on site 247, day in and day out. Now the issue also is how sustainable is this? When we are implementing something, we don't only look at how it would be run for the short term, but we need to look at the sustainability of it, the longevity of it. We need permanent solution and not temporary solutions. So I can boldly beat my chest and say this is just a temporary solution.
This is just a temporary solution. Thank you, Ms. Debbie.
Yes, this should have been the first on the list. We've seen the deployment of military into the galamsey, intense galamsey zones, but it was temporary. It wasn't permanent. They go there and then, for 2 or 3 days they are gone. And when you do that, you are not putting in much effort to fight galamsey. You see, the more reason why everybody is calling on the military is because obey before complain. They are not pleased. They are not going to negotiate with you if you don't obey straightforward. Whatever is due you will be given to you right at that very moment. And so sometimes I wonder what they are doing in the camp. We have our forest being destroyed. They should be deployed to the forest. They should be guarding the forest, because these are people that the state pays them every month. And yesterday when I heard the president speak, he said that is going to be another cost, because they will have to be feeding them in the bush. They will have to provide them with enough logistics to ensure that their work is being done efficiently and effectively. And that is very, very important, because I listened to the director of NIMOS spoke yesterday, and then he said these illegal miners are well equipped. They are not just in the pit, they are well equipped, and the what's the name, the rifles and the guns and all the things they use, it's even far it weighs higher than what these enforcers are even using. So when you joke, it's either you lose your life. And these galamseyers have already purported themselves that they are ready. Whoever is coming, they are going to face you boot for boot, because they've seen illegal mining. As much as it's illegal, they've seen it as a means of livelihood. They've seen it as shall I say, a genuine work where they earn money. So if you are coming in, it's like you are trying to be a threat to what they do, and so they are well equipped. So how can we stop these people? If they are sending the military there, then we need to ensure that they are well armed and they are well equipped as well. Because if we don't do that, then we are joking. And yesterday he said something. He said, all the stories we are hearing that they've arrested these people, that land has been reclaimed, he said it's only on paper. It's only on paper and not on ground. And then when you go to the grounds, it's a different story altogether. So the fight against galamsey is very, very tense. It's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment and our resources. If not, then we'll keep wasting our resources, because today we'll deploy people to go temporary, like the NIMOS. The NIMOS, they don't arrest. The only thing they can do is that ensure that they don't see you on site. Then after like 2-3 months they are back, and then when they come back again, it's the state money that is being used to resource them. It's a waste of money. So why don't we just come with a permanent solution to halt all this? Because as I said, Etiwa forest is now destroyed.
Why don't we come with a permanent solution rather than a temporary solution? Thank you so much, Miss Debbie, Miss Regina. Thank you so much for joining us right here on the News Review. Up next, we have Today in History with Miss Regina Bliss.
Bringing you today in history and some few global observances live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. 1661 negotiations and constructions milestones involving Christiansborg Castle. Ga King Ni Okankwe signed the historic agreement with Danish representative Joost Kramer that led to the initial land acquisition and construction of Christiansborg Castle, that is Osu Castle in Accra. Recent diplomatic negotiations between Ghana and Denmark continue to shape restoration and preservation milestones for the landmark. 2020, Mali's President Ibrahim Keita was forced to resign. Hours after mutinying soldiers detained him and Prime Minister Buebua at gunpoint, Keita stated on state television that he chose to step down to avoid bloodshed, also dissolving the parliament and government. To some few global observances, today is World Never Give Up Day. It is a global movement founded by Alain Houride in 2019 to celebrate human perseverance, resilience, and the determination to keep going when facing tough challenges, personal setbacks, or uncertain futures. Lastly, Bad Poetry Day. It is celebrated every year. It is a fun, pressure-free holiday to let people write hilarious awful verse, embrace awkward rhymes, and enjoy the freedom of writing without the fear of judgment. So today is a day to write a poem, whether professional or not. And that's all for today on Today in History and some global observances live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Miss Regina Bless, for Today in History and some global observances of the day. Up next, we have The Beach Girl.
Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear or favor. Minority Leader Alexander Hwenyo Markin has taken a swipe at Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, accusing him and other Supreme Court judges of playing a role in the removal of former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Speaking in an interview on August 18, Hwenyo Markin described Justice Bafo-Boni as the grand conspirator behind the removal of former CJ. According to the minority leader, Gertrude Torkornoo's removal was unjustified, alleging that some members of the Supreme Court were interested in occupying her position. He further stated that the New Patriotic Party would seek to reinstate Justice Torkornoo if it returns to power. My lord was part of the grand conspiracy against his predecessor, Gertrude Torkornoo. It was a grand conspiracy. Why should I deny what I know? I know even the Supreme Court judges also conspired against her colleague. One day the full story will be told. I said during our demonstration that I do not see why that woman should not be reinstated. When the MPP comes back to power, she has to be reinstated, he said. Hwenyo Markin also criticized Justice Gabriel, who chaired the committee that investigated the petitions against the former Chief Justice. According to him, the committee's work was flawed and incomplete, alleging that Justice Gabriel may have had personal ambitions of becoming Chief Justice in the future. The report that recommended a dismissal was not even complete. There were 3 petitioners, yet they concluded their work after dealing with only one petition and still submitted a report. So this was from the minority leader Alexander Hwenyo Markin, and he's alleging that the current CJ was a grand conspirator when it has to do with the removal of Gertrude Torkornoo. That has to do with our former CJ. I thought we are done with this issue. Sincerely speaking, when I saw this, I was like, what is happening again? Because personally, I felt like we are done with this CJ issues, this brouhaha surrounding the removal of Chief Justice and all that. And it was as if this current administration just woke up one day and it feels like, well, since our government is in power, we need to, take out the CJ and then bring in new person. Now let's take a look at how the CJ was removed. I know you know that, but let me just give you a brief detail on that. So the former Chief Justice Jethro Tokon was removed from office on September 1, 2025 by President John Dramani Mahama. So the reason given, she was removed on grounds of stated misbehavior under Article 146 Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution. A 5-member committee of inquiry set up Article 146 Clause 6 investigated petitions against her and found that the grounds for stated misbehavior had been established. Under Article 146 Clause 9, the President is required to act in accordance with the committee's recommendation. Now, what the committee cited, the committee's report cited several issues, including unlawful expenditure of public funds, including travel-related expenses, payments involving family members outside the country, abuse of discretionary power, interference in judicial appointments, specifically a 2023 letter to then President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo requesting appointment of additional Supreme Court justice with recommended names, where the committee said to bypass established procedures. So the committee reviewed about 10,000 pledges of documentary exhibit and heard from 25 witnesses. It also completed work on one of 3 petitions filed, the one by Ghanaian citizen Daniel Ofori. So in March-April 2025, President Mahama received 3 petitions seeking her removal. He determined a prima facie case existed and suspended her on April 22, 2025. So then a committee inquiry comes in. A committee chaired by Justice Gabriel Scott conducted the inquiry. So on September 1, after receiving the report, President Mahama removed her with immediate effect. This was the first time in Ghana's 4th Republic that a sitting Chief Justice was removed through the constitutional process. So Justice Tokono challenged the removal in court. The Supreme Court on July 2, 2026 upheld the constitutionality of the process. The ECOWAS court also dismissed her human rights claims against Ghana on June 24th. So you said this whole issue, it wasn't as if the president just woke up one day and they felt like, oh, we need to sack CJ. No. There was a petition that was being presented to President John Dramani Mahama, and that petition was referred to the committee. The committee looked into it very well, and then brought out their findings and everything. And so the president then had to act on the recommendations of the committee. And after that, what happened? The president suspended the CJ, and the CJ felt like, no, this is you infringing on my right, and then he went ahead to sue. He sued the state. It didn't work, and then she went to ECOWAS. It still didn't work. But you see, it's not as if this is the first time such incident is happening. During the previous administration, there were petitions that were being submitted to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, but they never acted on it. Now, Apenyamaki is making it look as if this is kind of sort of political witch hunt, or in a way, the current administration having already made it in mind that when they come to power, they are going to remove the CJ. And I can't remember that during the previous administration, there were instances where people were complaining that the work of this woman is not that appealing enough. They were talking about incompetence in her line of duty. There were a lot of claims. So it's not as if this issue is being buttressed with politics. The evidence were glaring right in our faces. And my problem is, why do we keep buttressing politics with every issue? Now, this woman felt as if her rights was being tampered with. And then she had the right. She went to the court. She sued the state. the Attorney General, of course. She sued the state, in fact, everybody. And then at the end of the day, it didn't work. And then she went straight to ECOWAS. It still didn't work. And now the minority leader is saying that when they come to power, they will reinstate her. And so they see no reason why she should be removed. But they've given reasons. This is somebody that travel out of the country. Sponsor her family out of the country at the expense of the taxpayers' money. And you feel like we should just allow her occupy that space. No, it doesn't work like that. And just as I said, you will not just wake up one day and then feel like, oh, this person needs to be removed. You go through the right procedures to remove that person. And that is why I said, I feel like we are done with this issue. This is not something that we should be even talking about now. But the minority keeps bringing this on board. And to them, they feel like this woman has not been fairly treated. And I was thinking he would have mentioned some of the things that, makes him feel like she's not been fairly treated. If she was removed without going through the process, then we could have said that this woman was being removed based on politics, or because any government that comes on board wants to appoint their own people in there. But the petition was first presented. And so what else do we want? What else are we expecting the government to do? Those are concerns of people. And they stated irregularities and all that she needs to go. And she's gone. So what is the challenge? If you feel like when you come back to power, you are going to bring her back, that is your own case. But then he also alleged, he made a claim. He said that CJ is a grand conspirator when it has to do with the removal of the former CJ, because he wants to become a CJ for Ghana. You see, sometimes I feel like the way we include politics in some cases is kind of bad. Well, he might have his own reasons for saying that, but I feel like that is too extreme. So the fact that Paul Bafoboni has been chosen as a CJ, is that a vivid ground that states that he has a hand in the removal of the former CJ, was the evidences and everything were clear. That this woman was traveling out. This woman sent a letter to the former president to appoint new chief justices with names. In fact, she gave the names out, the names of the people that she felt like can occupy that position, which is not supposed to be so. And then you feel like we should maintain this woman. No. And I also heard people calling gender inequality. This is not about gender inequality. If the person is a woman and the person is performing, why not? If you're a woman and you're occupying a position and you are competent, you are credible, there is no dent on what you are doing, why not? But in a case where everything shows that you are doing your work, but there is some kind of dent, this is not about gender inequality as MBL. And this issue should not be buttressed with politics. And that is why I took my time to read to you the procedures that they followed in removing the CJ. It's not as if someone is interested or somebody is happy with the removal of the CJ. And she being the first person being removed is quite unfortunate. But I think the right thing needs to be done. You don't expect a petition being presented and we don't act on it. If the former government or administration didn't act on it, that doesn't mean that this current administration should not also act on it. Their acting on it should tell you that it includes fact, a whole lot of fact and evidence that is a solid ground for her removal. So please, minority leader, we are begging you. I think the politics is becoming too much. Sometimes we need to call a spade and not a big spoon. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Grill.
We need to call a spade and not a big spoon. Thank you so much, Miss Debbie, for Debbie's Grill. And thank you, too, for joining us right here on the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. We'll be going for the news shortly. And right after that, we'll be back. Please stick and stay with us.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on GhanaTalks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bless,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the morning news update on GhanaTalks Radio. Coming up this morning, we begin with the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority launching a crackdown on fake driver's licenses within the ride-hailing sector as authorities move to improve safety and compliance. In education, officials at the University of Media, Art and Communication urge women to embrace digital literacy. Newly elected chair of the Ashanti region calls on the New Patriotic Party, Council of Elders and Founding Fathers to unite the party ahead of 2028 elections. And in business, oil marketing companies have commenced fuel price review as Star Oil currently sells petrol at 14.97 Ghana cedis, while diesel remains at 16.97. Stay with us for full details on these stories and more coming up right after this. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority have uncovered widespread fraud in the ride-hailing transport sector, revealing 75% of drivers on ride-hailing apps using fake license. According to the Chief Executive Officer of DVLA, Julius Niko Ekote, the authority has seized fake license and directed all affected drivers to undergo proper training and re-licensing. The move forms part of effort to sanitize the transport system and improve road safety. With a surge in the use of ride-hailing platforms, he urged public to remain vigilant and report suspected cases of fraud.
Let me say this. Anyone who gives you, who says bring passport picture for you to be given a license is giving you a fake license. If you are outside the country and someone tells you, send me your passport picture, let me go to DVLA and get you a driving license because you can drive already, is giving you a fake license. Why? Because we take your biometric details. So if you are not present, you can never go through this system. But let me tell you something. The policeman on the street checking driver's license does not even know which one is fake and which one is correct. Let me be very frank with you. It is now that we are deploying a system that will be able to scientifically verify the license on our roads. That is the e-license we are bringing. The police doesn't need to seize your license anymore. With your competency of certificates of competence number, they will dial it on their phone and they will check whether your license is correct or not. About 75% of the ride-hailing licenses we checked were all fake. Ride-hailing companies, Uber, Bolt, Taxify, Yango, 75% of the licenses we checked were all fake. We have to match all these drivers to our driving school. You can just imagine what DBLE is going through. I've said it over and over again. I don't take unilateral decision when it comes to sanction. There's a committee that they go through when it comes to sanction. I don't have that powers to sanction anyone. You go through the committee, and then when the committee they will bring their report based on that, and we can sanction you. And about 15 people are going through the committee now. So it is a system, a process that they go through. I think about 2 are from Obuasi. They demanded for money before registering Abubuya for someone. Some are from Techiman. Someone went to inspect a car, didn't use a cloning machine, and not know it was a car that has not paid duty. So all these people are going through the committee. I don't think there are any natural decision when it comes to sanctions. It's the committee, the discipline committee, they will go through, and then per their report, we will know the action to take. In terms of ride-hailing cars, ride-hailing drivers, the licenses we checked for them were all fake. So we are now taking them through. We've seized all the licenses. Some have not come because this one had a fake license, so they are not come. But certainly you have to go through the ride-hailing process to be on our roads. So certainly they will come. Not for now. We had a relationship with them where I think now it's on. We charge them once a day per ride. So we are now doing system integration with them. I think so far Taxify and Bolt, Uber have done the system integration. We're waiting to the other. There are about 16 ride-hailing companies in Ghana. We're waiting to them, giving them a date to make sure they do the system integration. Other than that, they have to face us in court. Now, yes. But when we are able to move all of them onto that particular platform, we are able to check each and every driver with a prompt of with an accidental prompt and everything. We'll be able to get there.
Director of General Administration and Consular Services at the University of Media, Arts and Communication is advocating for stronger investment in digital literacy for women across all sectors. Speaking at the forum, Dr. Forua Edu said digital skills are no longer optional but essential for career growth and national development. She urged women to actively integrate digital tools and competences into their professions. The call comes amid growing effort to increase women participation in technology, media and communication.
Technology has taken hold of everything. We are moving into a decade where everything is going to be digitized. Very complex for us to use. Fortunately, those of us, whose decade have passed, we will struggle to survive. But for you who are within this decade, you are supposed to come to terms and grasp these technologies. I don't want to foresee us young women becoming just partakers of the digitized era, owning a mobile phone, doing streaking and tweeting on social media. How do we become part of the creation of these digitized elements that we have? How do we contribute in the production of these digitized elements that we have? There's one question that I always ask myself. If they say that for women, our office is the kitchen, given, is an assertion, but given that the kitchen is our office, everybody would want to have an office where you can comfortably operate in, right? You would want to have your desk arranged a particular way, your laptop and everything in order. Now, if the kitchen is supposed to be our office, wouldn't we want to be part of what goes into that kitchen? Wouldn't we, as women, want to be part of what goes into the kitchen, which we claim is our office? Are you with me? So, if we want to create even cooper, wouldn't we be part of the process to ensure that for the next decade, the washing machine that is created or manufactured is such that I can stand at a distance and throw in my dirty laundry? And then
Newly elected New Patriotic Party Ashanti Regional Chair Oduniho Kwekwe Pia has appealed to the party's Council of Elders and Founding Fathers to help end internal divisions. Speaking after his election, he said unity is critical if the New Patriotic Party is to recapture power in the 2028 general elections. According to him, the focus must shift from internal contest to rebuilding party structures, strengthening grassroots mobilization, and presenting a united front to Ghanaians. The appeal comes as the New Patriotic Party begins post-election reorganization following its defeat in the 2024 polls.
The only say, I was sitting between the country and I wouldn't. And yet, I was sitting here from war. No one shall be said. Monka baby, the black China, because I ran to the baby, and yet, I was sitting between the country and I wouldn't. Who said, say, I didn't say, a Kuno, then to me, Makono, and Nimpunim 2028. Then the crack no great, yeah, Makonimua. To me, I have a mother of Tamamuka, not the island. It's 24. When you don't want time, a sad soon never said, Mano, a man couple of Comuno, who could give a Comuno, and yet you are the Quemo as sentimental. A Cono, baby, January, and a pair of for 30. Now, at the phobia, I want me to one. Almost suddenly, I said, when is the about 2 years? You need to back to move. And you know, the whole police station in Ghana, some way they ever. I said, well, I have for personal interest. They should want to pay interest to be able to make a crap, maybe more as a mental interest in Ghana. Said 2028, the Bengals of the Mamuka will be a higher president, and only interest.
Resident Country Director of the International Investment, Ibrahim Ajay, says functional alignment played little to no role in the outcome of the New Patriotic Party's recent regional elections. In an interview, Mr. Ajay said delegates voted based on the credibility and track record of individual candidates. According to him, the result presents newly elected regional executives with a 2-year window to reorganize at the grassroots, mend divisions, and position the party for the 2028 general elections.
It's a message. I wrote that part of my discussion in because sometimes the situation of the country can help motivate a party to be focused in its agenda. As much as we do our politics, we are family. I have family who are NDC. I'm sure Abdullah's family who are NPP. It is normal. So when you are suffering, sometimes you don't look at the politics. You look at the personalities behind the suffering. I'm talking NDC. And so that is a motivator for us to make sure that our message is on point and focused on the people. Because the 2 years that we have now, again, which is why I want to applaud and celebrate those personalities, rank and file, who said, let's do the presidential first, get that out of the way. And as Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has done, exemplary, there's been no favoritism. If you want to campaign, and when you check WhatsApp messages, and then Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's own Facebook posts and X posts regarding internal elections. Campaign on your own merits. Sell yourself on what you could do either at the constituency level or either again at the regional level that we're doing now, and then in October 5th we come to the national elections. If you want to lead the party in a position of authority, tell the constituents, the delegates, the executives, what you can do, not where you were aligned. And as I said, when we met at Tema, the Wire Call, the conversations that we were all having was on why candidate A, B, or C deserved the vote. And there was no talk of which candidate they supported, which is why I said at the beginning, this is what I and many people observed. And those who want to say otherwise This is a democracy. Phone in and tell Jude, this is what we saw, and I will tell you.
Editor of the News Center newspaper, Elvis Darko, has urged government to back its 24-hour economy policy with concrete data. Speaking on national issues, Mr. Darko said the public needs to see evidence of nighttime service delivery before policy can be deemed effective. He stressed that rolling out 24-hour operations without proof of demand risks costly venture or officers record low patronage during night hours. For the policy to succeed, he argued that government must first conduct proper feasibility studies, publish usage statistics, and ensure that shift systems are tied to real public needs.
The problem where you have to send the money to do 24-hour economy, you are not sending it. One of the easiest places government can do 24-hour is the sanitation sector for assemblies. If government decide that before you wake up in the morning, all the streets must be clean, so cleaners must work in the night. And then when they close, others work in the day. It's one of the easiest places to extend 24 hours. Where is the data to prove that passport office, people have gone to passport in the night? How many? I said, give me the data that passport offices, they start 24 hours. 10,000 people have gone to apply for passport in the night, or have gone to pick up their passport in the night. DVLA, tell me how many people have gone to do road radio license in the night since they started. See, this thing, as I said, let the data and science speak. Okay, well, you are going to pack people that they are doing 24 hours. They are sitting there, nobody is coming, and we are paying salaries. So,
in business, oil marketing companies have started reviewing prices of petroleum products at the pumps from this morning. August 18, 2026, Star Oil has taken the lead among top oil marketing companies as GTR checked the prices of petroleum products across some pump stations this morning. Star Oil has reduced the price of petrol from 15.49 Ghana cedis per litre to 14.97. However, that of diesel had been kept unchanged at 16.97 Ghana cedis per litre. Checks with the market leader Goyo indicated that fuel prices have not yet been reviewed. Total Energies had also not reviewed prices as it services stations across the country. However, there are strong indications that some of the oil marketing companies might keep their prices unchanged at the pumps. It is also likely that most of the oil marketing companies will once again price above the price floor set by the National Petroleum Authority. The authority set a price floor of 13.92 Ghana cedis for petrol and 15.19 Ghana cedis for diesel for the second pricing window from August 16 to 31, 2026. To sports, Black Stars Andrew Dedeayu has donated 10,000 to support the 6th Inter-Regional Wheelchair Basketball Championship during a visit to the Volta region. Ayu was in the region as a special guest at the 2026 Volta Cup, where he interacted with young footballers, athletes, and members of the local sporting community. He also visited the Wheelchair Basketball Championship at the whole sports stadium and contributed 10,000 Ghana cedis towards athlete welfare and match day operations. The championship has brought together about 150 para-athletes from 5 regions, providing a competitive platform while promoting greater inclusion in sports. Ayu interacted with the athletes, commending their determination and encouraging them to remain focused on their ambition and pursue great opportunities through sports. The donation adds to Ayu's growing community engagement away from professional football. In recent years, he has spent time with young people and played community football in Tema, Newtown, and also in Kumasi, using the visit to share his experience and encourage young athletes. His visit to the Volta region extended that engagement beyond football, drawing attention to para-athletes who often compete with fewer resources and less visibility. For Ayu, the intervention is another way of using this platform to support athletes at the grassroots level and promote greater participation and inclusion in Ghanaian sports. On global updates, the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has killed 2,325 people, government data showed on August 16, surpassing the toll from 2018 to 2020 outbreak to become the deadliest in the country's history. DR Congo's Public Health Institute said in its latest report that confirmed cases had risen to 4,945, including 101 new cases detected in the previous 24 hours. The outbreak, the country's 17th, was already the biggest in its history in terms of the number of cases, reaching that milestone in late July. The latest government data shows that death tolls has now surpassed 2,299 deaths recorded during the 2018 and 2020 outbreak, which was previously the country's worst on record. The current outbreak is now dwarfed only by West Africa's 2014 to 2016 Ebola outbreak, in which 28,616 cases and 11,310 deaths were recorded across Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, according to the World Health Organization. While it took nearly 5 months from the declaration of that outbreak to reach 1,000 deaths, DR Congo's current outbreak reached 2,000 deaths in less than 3 months. The current outbreak is caused by the Bondibajo species of Ebola, which has now approved vaccines and treatment. The outbreak has gained momentum since it was declared on May 15 as weak health infrastructure, community resistance, and instability hinder efforts to identify and respond to cases. The proportion of people dying after confirmed infection, known as the case fatality ratio, has also risen from about 20% in early June to 46%, according to government data. This shows nearly 1 in every 2 confirmed cases is now fatal. Experts says the increase does not indicate the virus has become more lethal, but instead point to persistent shortcomings in surveillance, case detection, and access to care. A small number of experimental vaccines and therapies are evaluated, while global health authorities assess whether existing Ebola treatment could offer protection. The outbreak earlier spread to neighboring Uganda, but authorities managed to limit deaths to 2 and confirmed cases to 20 before declaring an end to the outbreak in the country last month. Ebola spreads through direct contact with bodily fluid of infected people, living or dead. It can cause fever, vomiting, diarrhea, and severe cases, internal and external bleeding. And that's it on the morning news update. Thank you so much for sticking tuned to your radio. Do want to log on to all streaming platforms, as well as logging onto our website at www.GhanaTalksRadio.com for more news updates. I am Deborah Dorso. Do have a good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko ni kosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Ghana Talks Radio, UK, Abrochimemu, era from Ghana Muha at the sound system, which is spinning machine papa, a free amana never be good among Ghana Muha. It is a year, we engagement, we wedding, we birthday party. Political parties are more rally, some way sorry, more crusade. So we'll book carnival or any kind of event. Now we'll pay spinning machine papa a boa sound in the moon at the dia any may come for GTR sounds at the MAO. Your live band in so our tones at the frame ya beat me ababeboa ama ujumedia woody and so at me I come up. Ya wa enkan pupuni mantemo anya aponchi hotel a hope pepe ena yebutu odi an se wo be frɛ mpanifo ɛwɔ 0546960510 GTR sounds emu de angaza.
Your morning companion. Good morning to you once again, and you're welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. This is your favorite online radio station. You can carry along wherever you go. Remember that we are streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio TV, on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio, and also on X at Ghana Talks Radio. Do well to join us this morning. Send in your comments. Let's get interactive right here on the morning show. And this is the second segment. You know how we do it. We come along with knowledgeable guests who are going to be delving into the issue for discussion this morning, and they just can't wait to share their opinions, their suggestions on matters that matter to you every morning right here on the show. So as I said earlier, we are streaming on our social media platform, on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio TV, on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio, and on X at Ghana Talks Radio. Send in your suggestions, send in your comments, send in your opinions. Maybe you have something you wanna share with us. Just send it right in the comment section. We'll do well to read them back to you and read it to our guests, and we'll pick it up from there. Right. Thank you so much for joining us. This morning I have with me sitting in the studio Mr. Michael Owusu. He is an MPP communicator. Right. Good morning to you, Mr. Owusu, and you're welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
God has done his part, but then in this current economy,
hey.
You can't.
God has
done his part by protecting my family and I. But in this current economy, we are not feeling well.
You're not in what aspect? Is it the lorry fare?
No,
or
because
it cut across.
It's cut across because to go back to campaign messages that was promised to us as youth, the government's promise to make 24-hour economy, also provide youth jobs, and then a whole lot of stuff. But then now we are hearing different stories of markets being built. And then the whole knowledge I have about the 24-hour economy is that, according to the president, he's saying that you are going to have three people, one job, and then 3 shifts. That is the Formula 1 territory. Yes. And then we thought, me personally, I thought it was going to be building of infrastructures, maybe factories, that is going to maybe employ more youth to work one territory. But then he's now saying he's building markets.
So does that mean that the market doesn't give job opportunities?
It gives job opportunity though, but then let's see me as an accountant graduate. Let's see someone else as a geography graduate or a pharmacy graduate. How is the market beneficiary to us?
But we have pharmacies in the market.
Yes, we have pharmacies in the markets though, but then how sure are you that those pharmacies are going to run 24 hours?
But we have pharmacies who are already running 24 hours, even before this whole policy or initiative came up.
Yes, thank you very much for what you said. You said we have pharmacies that run 24 hours.
Yeah.
So why then should we create more pharmacies? While we have a lot of pharmacies that run 24 hours with people working over there.
But how many pharmacies do you know run 24 hours? Because as it stands now, it's just one pharmacy I know, which is Top Up Pharmacy, which runs 24 hours. Apart from that, I don't know any other pharmacy that runs 24 hours.
Okay. So I can mention about even 2 pharmacies that run 24 hours in my locality. Kolebu, when you come to Kolebu, not Kolebu Hospital per se, but then on the route to Kolebu, there is a pharmacy called 24-hour market. 24-hour pharmacy. Yeah. And then in that pharmacy, it's more or less like a clinic, but not a clinic, but because it contains a whole lot of medicines, like even patients from Kolebu are directed to that pharmacy to buy. And then there is another pharmacy just in front, opposite my house. Yes.
It also runs 24 hours.
Yes, runs 24 hours. And then what the youth was expecting from the government wasn't building markets, saying that in the market is going to come. They have demolished a building at some buildings. I don't want to be specific, but some buildings in Ghana. Claim even banks have been demolished, claiming that they want to build 24-hour economy. Banks which could take or employ about, let me say, hundreds of youth. You have demolished it. How sure are you that, how sure are we Ghanaians that even this 24-hour economy market is going to be completed by the end of 2028? Whilst they are even going to opposition. Me personally, I don't think those markets are going to be completed because you are building a plot. You have demolished a plot of, or let me say, you are building markets on a plot of land, and then you tell me that on that plot of land is going to contain hospitals. On that plot of land is going to contain supermarkets. Like this is, I don't know if you are trying to get the concept.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it. But do you think it's not achievable?
It is achievable though, but then it will not be beneficiary to all the youth because we have youth who find themselves in different aspects of occupations.
Yeah, career.
Yes, career. You as a journalist or you as a TV presenter, assuming your station here runs down or get closed, and then you're asked to go to the 24-hour market being built at Ashalajan or Agbooloshi, how is it beneficiary to you? Because your field of study is pertained to journalism. How would that be beneficiary to you? That applies to the same person who is a geography graduate, who deals in maybe mines and then stuff. Now they are saying that they are not taking. Yes, let me even use the cases of nurses and teachers. How would teachers get into the market to work? Because now the financial minister said he can only clear about 7,000 teachers. Meanwhile, the education minister said they need about 50,000 teachers, and then he's saying that he can only clear about 7,000. So the remaining 43,000 in the house. How would the 24-hour economy market they are building be beneficiary to them? In my sense, I think it is feasible though, but then it's not beneficiary to all Ghanaians. But then the president, one thing I always say is that this 24-hour economy market that the NDC or policy that the NDC brought is a policy which was generated from ChatGPT. But they just
how is it a policy generated by ChatGPT?
Yes, I'll explain to you.
You think that the
government didn't actually foresee or wasn't visionary enough and thought that this is achievable and could yield to a positive result by giving a large number of audience jobs?
The government, what I would say is that the government was not prepared for Power 2024.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what I think.
If they were not prepared for power, then why were they campaigning?
Because it's like there has been a chance for you to campaign. So you have to just campaign and then just chip in promises that you cannot achieve. Let me just bring in some policies they said they are going to be make it in their first year. Now we have the vice president of Ghana being a lady, a female. And then they promised to make a women's development bank in their first year. At least the vice president of Ghana currently being a female, that should be the first priority of her. And then that would add to her credit. But then we are not even hearing from her. We've heard nothing. It's as if Ghana doesn't even have a vice president.
But you've heard from the finance minister on the development of the bank during the budget reading, and also from the deputy finance minister that they've been given a license and they are also collaborating with other banks to make sure that the bank is established. We didn't hear about that too.
You see, one thing about our friends in the NDC, they are always making talks, promises. They are always making talks which are not achievable. Let me chip in this. They said now inflation, as compared to what Nanado ex-president left to Ghana, it has now decreased. They've decreased inflation, and then also they've also decreased the dollar to CD rate. How is it showing in our daily lives? Sometimes when you listen to public opinion, you go to the markets, you listen to what the taxi drivers are saying, the truck drivers are saying, you get to know that yes, the dollar has reduced as the dollar to the CD has reduced. But then there is still hardship, even more than what President Akufo-Addo left to President Mahama.
And what are the indicators?
Yes, the indicators as in what is happening now.
Yeah, what are some of the things that are evidence that indeed people are actually going through hardship? You mentioned the CD and the dollar, of which you are saying that you're not seeing the impact. But you and I would attest that even on social media, we had certain personalities, and even I remember the likes of Kwame Eugene, who was begging the president that the dollar where it is fine because they are equally losing funds as well. And you're also saying a different story, so it's contradicting.
Yes. So in Ghana here, people who generate a lot of income, revenue for the government by paying taxes, mostly, I would say it goes to the traders.
To the traders.
Traders, yes. Businessmen,
yes.
and stuff.
And women and entrepreneurs.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And then now, women are complaining that prices of goods have reduced as compared to before 2024, before 2025. But then people are not buying. There is no money in the system. How can you tell me that
people are not buying?
My explanation for it is quite different. It's because how can you tell me that the inflation in the country has reduced, dollar to CD rate is now getting stable, and then but still people suffer to get money. People don't even have the purchasing power, money used to buy something. People don't have that money to even run their daily lives. Now, bags of rice, which was currently a higher price than what President Mahama has reduced it now, they are now even selling it at cheaper prices because people are not buying it.
So how does the government come in?
Yes, the government should come in because the government has, from my view and then the economy that I've studied, I can see that the government has seized money pumped into the system. And then due to that factor, people are not getting money. People are not getting, purchasing power, real money, income. Although people have been paid, but then the government has used another way of collecting all those money back. And
how is that way?
Yes, I'll explain to you. Now, when the NDC came, they introduced, let me just mention about 2 or 3. They've introduced a 5% charge when you are transferring money from your bank account to your mobile money.
When is that? When was that?
It came around. We had this information. MTN sent, not MTN though. I think MTN sent messages.
But it's not effective.
It's not effective. But then they used a subsidiary.
No, but they are not deducting.
They are not deducting.
Yes, it's not effective.
It's not effective.
No, it's not effective.
Secondly, they've introduced D-levy. I hope that one is effective.
Yeah, the D-levy is effective, of which the government gave a reason as to why they are taking those taxes.
There's definitely going to be a reason. They've increased water tariffs, right?
For that, I can't tell. It's been a while.
Yes, they've increased water tariff by a number of percentage. Those are the ways that the government is using to take money from the people. But then, following those ways, you're not going to, you think money is still with you, but then indirectly the money is leaving your pocket. The money is so by the time that you get your pay, by the time that SNET will take its part, by the time that you pay this levy, she can't account on it's and then now price of goods have been reduced in the market. I'm a student in UCC. Well, now we are on vacation, when I go to school and then I want to prepare maybe stew, and I said I'm buying red and green pepper and then tomatoes. I can count the green pepper that is being given to me as 5 cedis, as 11 inside the rubber.
But you know that naturally in Cape Coast things are very expensive, because the 5 cedis you are saying that you can count for 11. The shop just adjacent to the office, you can buy some green pepper for 5 cedis, and they give you in large quantity. You even leave some in the fridge. So I think it depends on the geographic as well, because Cape Coast is very expensive. I'll not lie to you.
Yes, I like the point you just raised, but then what is the government doing about it? Because
so what do you think the government can do about it to push?
They should interfere. That's why we have agencies who deal with those stuff. So, and then I'm not the only person complaining here. There have been complaints. People complaining that Nyama boy ding Cape Coast, like what you have saying. I heard it before even going to Cape Coast.
Cape Coast is very expensive.
Yeah. So are you trying to tell me that the government has not heard anything about it?
Right. Or could it be that because where they actually taking their products from, or the food ingredients from, is actually far from Cape Coast? Because I know maybe they don't have a produce hub right there in Cape Coast. So if you want food items like yam, tomatoes, you have to go to a particular region. Maybe it could be the transportation and transporting all those food produce that could account to why food produce are actually expensive in Cape Coast. If you ask me, I think that could be.
Well, you also have a point, but then during the Nanado's time, during the past years when Nanado was a president, I think he introduced a policy about the policy. If I remember well, it's about planting
for food and jobs.
Now, do you think that policy is effective?
But how was that policy?
Yes, planting for food and jobs. It's self-explanatory. Like what you are saying, that in Cape Coast maybe they don't have a place, or maybe a large farm where tomatoes or peppers are being produced over there. So then they go to other regions to take it, which increases the costs. And then those same costs are also being increased on the people who buy. If the planting for food and jobs simply explains itself. So in Cape Coast, for instance, you know that there is no large farm which can produce this. So the government has introduced a policy that this should happen. So then there are a lot of lands in Cape Coast. Why don't the government focus on producing all those stuff over there, rather than moving from Cape Coast to Greater Accra to buy food stuff and then send it back to Cape Coast and then increase the price? Because we are all citizens of the same status. You buying green pepper 5 cedis from Accra, plenty, and then me buying green pepper 5 cedis from Cape Coast, less.
It's a difference.
What makes the difference between us? It's not the location, but what is causing that? It means the government has to check what's going on in Cape Coast, but then the government has failed to do it. I may go too far. I think last week I heard Malek Basintale, YACU, saying that NDC is the only political party in the history of Ghana that has fulfilled the youth promises they made during their manifesto. I want to state it clearly and emphatically here that all what he said were lies. Everything he said, yes, the NDC can boast of 3 things that they've done so far that me have seen. 1, Nkokon Kitten, of which recently we heard a news saying that
they are great ministers that the people are consuming.
The chicken. So it means the millions of cedis which were pumped into that policy have been wasted. Secondly, they can brag of free pad for our girls in the SHS. Do you think this policy is a good policy?
The free pad. You think it's not a good policy?
Of course, because
what makes you think it's not a good policy?
yes, because girls in SHS before this policy were able to get pads for themselves. I'm not sure a
is
parent.
It all girls?
Definitely.
Have you thought of those living in the urban areas who are not able to afford sanitary pad or could not go to school for 7 days because they can't buy pad to wear? So you think it's a bad policy?
In school, even though you don't have money to buy pad, a girlfriend in your room could give you one. And then how much?
And should you be dependent?
You shouldn't be dependent on that person
for 7 days.
No, but then how much? Are you telling me that parents can buy food stuff for their children, provisions for their children, and then neglect pad?
I think the pad project didn't focus on those that are able to purchase it, but focus on those who are unable to purchase the pad. Some people go as far as using old rags, which if you don't disinfect it properly end up giving you disease and infection. Some people end up using dry leaves of plantain as their sanitary pad, and this makes it feel very uncomfortable for girls to sit in the classroom. And the government brings out such a policy, and you said it's not a policy.
Okay.
Whereas we've seen certain independent entities and institutions donating sanitary pads to people in the urban areas as their CSR. Do you also say that that project is also a bad one,
so
or it's not a priority?
So with what you are saying, I would say that those who you are saying that they use plantain leaves to do and then dirty rags for that in replacement of the pad, I think those people are people from the rural areas.
Of course.
Those who are not educated.
So those are the people the government prioritized and supported.
Yes. But what do you think? Do you think it's only financial? It's only about financial problems. That's why they're not getting the pad.
Then what else? If they're able to afford it,
it could be lack of education.
And you think the government didn't educate them on that?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
If the government has educated,
I was at the program that day when this pad project was actually launched, and the health minister was there to educate the girls on how to even use it, and even to the men as well. So I think when it comes to issues of the government sharing pad, it shouldn't be something that we should actually buttress with politics, because we see a whole lot of institutions also embarking on the same project, and even with us, we also do same.
That's fine. The third policy that I also like to raise is about the no fish stress policy. That the government has successfully implemented this policy. But then, do you know the most the saddest part about this policy? Nanado made free SHS for students. Even now, you know that now if you want a maid for maybe your weak mother or a weak grandmother in the house alone, you not even get. Even if you get, you are going to suffer because of free education. And then now, all these students have entered school. They've completed, and then now, President Mahama says he wants to make first year for university free for students who enters. But what he said during the manifesto was that first year is going to be free. So you are going to enter first year free. But when he became president and then we entered the university, he said now what we heard was that you are going to pay for the school fees, and then afterwards they are going to refund the money to you. So most parents went for loans because they were thinking the government would refund the money, and then used it to pay off the loans that they went for. And then in school, the government just released about few percentage of the monies that we paid.
Money to the students.
To the students.
Yeah.
So then, if a fee is 5,000 Ghana cedis, then the parent goes for 5,000 Ghana cedis loan, and then the government decides to release just 3,200 for the student. How would the parents get the extra 1,800 to pay off the loan that she went for with interest? Don't you think this is also a problem that must be addressed? Because the no fish stress policy, I would say that I will not say it's a bad policy, a good policy, because it will also help the students who completed the free SHS to also get a stand when it comes to better education in the tertiary.
Exactly.
But then, if it is not being, do you know that personally, I think the number of students who failed WASI, it's not because they are low-minded people, or they are low IQ people. I think the government wanted to move straight or direct to it budget. That's why most students didn't have opportunity to enter the tertiary institution. Some papers, although they were more practice, so that one I'll not go to that side. Some people, you hear some people saying that, oh, this paper, I really wrote things, I did well, but then I wasn't expecting this grade. Although that person didn't fail, but then the grade that you get will not push you to the university. You not fail, but the grade that you get cannot push you to the university. And then I think, personally, that's also a way to reduce the number of students entering the university. And then even those who enter the universities, now we are getting to level 200.
So are you trying to insinuate that the WAEC is now influenced by the government? Because in a nutshell, that is what you are trying to say.
It could be.
But do you have any
that's why I said that was my personal view.
So that is your personal opinion.
Yes.
That you think that the number of people that failed, the large number of people that failed, is because the government didn't want to pay the no fees stress policy.
The reason why I'm saying this is that currently, you see, MPP had a demonstration about democracy at attack.
Under attack.
Yes. And then the whole ideology about this was that it's like the government now, the executive body, is now interfering into the activities of the judiciary and then the legislature. The executive body now is influencing or is interfering in the activities of the legislature. That's how I see it. So due to this reason, like the Yoko, would you classify the Yoko under a judiciary body? Definitely, or?
Yeah, they are under they are independent bodies as well. So I wouldn't classify.
You wouldn't
them
classify
as
them.
parts of the judiciary.
They are independent body, but then yes,
they
so
collaborate with the judiciary to work.
They collaborate with the judiciary, not the executive.
Mm-hmm.
But then there has been cases stating that the government through the Yoko is just arresting people for free speech. I don't tolerate or encourage insults by the citizens to the president. You see that's something that morally
But is Yoko arresting people for free speech, or is a different institution arresting these people? Because I don't know Yoko to arrest people for free speech.
Yoko is not arresting for free speech. I made a mistake, sorry. It's just the police service. So let me make it
clarify that.
It's just that Yoko isn't arresting people for free speech. They are investigating and then arresting people and then seizing the property of people for investigations or illegality done during their tenure in office or something. Yes, but then people are being arrested if they speak. I don't encourage free speech, but then someone who is a beneficiary of hate speech, President Mahama, should at least interfere in what is going on in the country.
Are we not supposed to allow these bodies to work independently? So why does the executive actually get to influence what these bodies are supposed to do?
Yes.
When you do that, don't you think in a way you're trying to send a message that these people don't know their jobs?
No, they know their jobs. So
why then do the president actually has to interfere?
So okay, then let me also ask you this question. So why then do the presidential also give presidential pardon to people who have been found guilty by the judiciary?
But have we seen that happen in right here in our country? Who was that? Do you have facts to it that the president actually gave her a presidential pardon?
According to what they said.
Oh.
According to what they said, because Sedinam Tamaklo was charged with about 47 cases.
Mr. Oso, I don't think that is actually right or fair to my audience that you say certain things and then you are not able to back them by fact or evidence that indeed Sedinam Tamaklo was granted a presidential pardon. That is as to why she is out of prison as that. Because per reports and what I have read and reported even in the news everywhere, I believe you've also read it before, it's not written anywhere that Sedinam Tamaklo was granted a presidential pardon. That is why she is free.
So if you also try to say this, then when we went to secondary school, the course that we learned, government, they said the executive has power to give presidential pardon.
That I know.
That is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the president has power to give presidential, I'm not saying the president should to teach what the judiciary or the legislature or the police service what they should do. But then, if something is going on in the country, Nanado said something during this time. He said the police are our friends. whereby now you see people arrested for hate speech they use.
You use hate speech, and if someone should use hate speech against you, how would you feel?
I'll feel bad.
You feel bad.
I'll feel bad, but in this
so
contest,
to the others that are feeling bad, don't you think it's right for the police to take them on?
In this
because
contest,
if you use a hate speech against me, if you threaten me, I'll take you on, because that is my life at risk.
Yes, you have a point. But I'm saying that what I'm trying to make the difference I'm trying to make here is that President Mahama is a beneficiary of hate speech, so he should be the last person, the last person to complain about hate speech, because we were all here when President Mahama was in opposition, where he said a whole lot of stuff. You can testify, because during the last 8 years you were here in Ghana. He used hate speech. He said, he even called Achim, the Achim tribe, Sakawa tribe. Isn't this a hate speech? Was he arrested for that? Did even the media talk about this? It was only Nana Addo who spoke about this in a conference meeting. Only Nana Addo. The media didn't talk about anything about what he said. Meanwhile, he said something like that. I have videos on my phone where he even said, he even used insults, rain insults on the ruling party at then. That's MPP. But then people didn't go against it because they saw it like democracy. So although using hate speech on someone can make you be arrested, but he should be the last person. President Mahama's government, the NDC government, should be the last government to complain about hate speech, because they came into power because of hate speech, and then propaganda, serious propaganda.
Indeed, propaganda, and we will definitely see the NPP also doing propaganda.
we are just making constructive criticism.
This is what the whole politics is about. The NPP do it, the NDC do it. This is still the Ghana Talks with for sure. I think at this juncture we'll be delving into the main topic for discussion, and this morning we'll be looking at a fresh suit that has been filed against presidential term limit, and this time around is coming from the NPP, and this is a significant constitutional story between the NPP and between Ghanaians, and now the NPP has actually joined 4 other plaintiffs in challenging aspects of Ghana's presidential term limit framework before the Supreme Court, and the latest NPP case was filed on July 30th, and this revelation was brought to us by the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Sremsai, which was on Friday. And so as it stands now, it has added to 5 cases that has been sued or that has been applied pertaining presidential term limits. And all these 5 cases concern the constitutional framework governing presidential tenure and term limits, and their substantive arguments and the exact relief sought will ultimately be determined by the Supreme Court if indeed their issues or what they have submitted actually holds matters. So that is more or less like a legal action that the NPP has, decided to embark on, and also join the other 4 plaintiffs to challenge presidential term limits.
Yes.
What do you make about that? Has President John Dramani Mahama said anywhere that he will be going for a third term?
I'll come on that. But you see, in every institution, every economy, every country, every school, like even here that I find myself, there are rules, regulations, basically laws that governs the institution or country or economy as a whole. In Ghana, we find ours to be our constitution, and then the constitution we have entrenched laws and then enshrined laws. In Article 66(1) of the Constitution of Ghana says that
Article
66(1)
right.
says that president serves for a term of 4 years. 66(2) Article 66(2) says that a person cannot be elected as a president for more than 2 terms. So basically, a term is equivalent to 4 years. So 2 terms equivalent to 8 years.
To 8 years.
And then President Mahama has been president before. That is from 2012 to 2016. That was his first term.
Yeah.
And then this is his second term. So I think even if the constitution should be changed because of how he's managing the country, because of maybe how well he's managing the country, that should be the decision of the people, a referendum. But it shouldn't be that, because you know that an entrenched law cannot be easily repealed or changed.
Yeah.
It cannot be easily repealed.
It goes through a long process.
Yes, and then the article 61, 66.1 and then 66.2, they are all under chapter 8, which falls under entrenched law of article 290. That you cannot about the presidential term, basically, that's what you're talking about. You cannot just eliminate or repeal or just touch it, alter it, just like that. It takes a long process. And I think if President Mahama made a speech and said that he has not said that he wants a third term, he has not said that he wants another term, but then every morning when he wakes up, he reads it. If you are not interested in swimming, will you if you are not interested in swimming at all, let me make an example. I'm not interested in swimming, will you go near to the pool to even put your legs inside? Would you do that? No. So if you are not interested in the third term, you are not interested, you are never.
He shouldn't read it. So because he's reading it, you think he's
according
interested.
to what he said he has read it several times. Every morning when he wakes up, he reads it. He reads if he can qualify for the third term. And then the constitution says you are only allowed for 2 terms. But I want to ask a question that if President Mahama is not interested in these 2 terms, in the third terms, why then should he read it over and over again?
So because he reads it, so he's interested.
This should tell you that he's interested. But then a different body is now appealing or has gone to the Supreme Court for clarification on those terms.
Yes.
If President Mahama can stand for a third term. But then now the court said they've accepted the appeal, saying that the president should go for 5 years. But you know that this can also create political differences.
What is it going to create? How is it going to create that?
When NPP comes to power, the same processes that NDC is using to change it from 4 years to 5 years, saying that the reason they gave was that when they come, it's 2 factors that delays them: transition and electioning. These are the 2 factors that they give.
Yes.
If NPP comes to power and then NPP also says that we are also not getting more time, so we want to increase it from 5 years to 8 years for a term, they can also complain because they have altered that law, the constitution, and then now they have made it much more flexible to change.
But as it stands now, you know that the final say doesn't actually lie on the president. This will actually go to parliament as well.
Yes.
And it's going to go through other bodies as well. So it's not just the politicians that actually have a say or a final say in this. So it's definitely going to go through a process. And just as you mentioned, a referendum, of which I read that 40% of the voters will have to approve. And out of that 40%, another 75% will also have. So all of this lies on us. So indeed, if the citizens are okay with that, they can go in for it.
Yes.
So with that, don't you think it will even make it more difficult for them? Just as you are saying that it will be flexible, rather.
I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that what I'm trying to say is not to decide for the citizens. The citizens can go ahead and then vote in for, or when the referendum is being taken, they elect President Mahama again or choose him again for a third term. I cannot decide for the citizens. But what I'm trying to talk about here is that are we not altering with a safeguard pertaining to the entrenched law about this? Do you know that a longer term will give a leader, a good leader, more time to deliver more? That's the same way that a longer time will give a bad government, like the NDC, what they are doing now, more time to deliver more. And then why should citizens wait for? Now some citizens, according to public opinion, some citizens have agreed, have accepted, campaigning for it. Others are also disagreeing. I don't know if you've seen videos like that. Yes.
I've not seen any video.
Oh, they have been. They are, when you listen to public opinion, when the bloggers go to the market and then stuff, they hear all those stuff. But then there are 2 problems that the NDC stated. That is the electioning and then the electioneering and then the transition. If electioneering is the problem, Why don't they try to tackle the campaign period rather than interfering into the terms of government? Do you know that me personally, do you know what I think? I think this 5 years term no more debano. It is backed by an agenda to push for a third term for President Mahama.
But with that, it is reported that it does not include President Mahama's tenure. So that means that President Mahama is even out of league for the 5 term that has been extended. So he's not even part of it. So how does he come into this conversation?
He's not part of it. But from his own national chairman said that people are pushing for President Mahama to go for third term. And then the same way that people sent review or petition to the Supreme Court to clarify the terms of office for the president. That's the same way that people, you market here, they will send it again for a third term for President Mahama. And then do you know that whatever that's going on in the country right now, it's something that is happening. And then if you don't think and then understand it very clearly, you know that you know that NDC for you, the Ghana for you, I didn't go. Yeah, in Kayaka, when NDC came, if NDC was to be a party that is delivering very well for the country, but look at how people are suffering. Look at cocoa farmers. Look at teachers. Teachers for you can say they are doing automatic posting. Ubio portal they are saying that you should pay an amount of money before you know your status. When the teachers pay the money, you are informal. And then me, I don't know the teachers are formal Ghana say to for that. But secondly, NDC promised to cancel teachers' licensure exams in their first year when they come to power. Did you hear anything about it?
No, I've not heard anything about it.
But did you hear the promise that they made about the licensure exams?
That they were going to cancel it
when they come into power in the first year.
But now they've made a U-turn.
They've made a U-turn. They have diverted from it. Last year, the teachers wrote licensure exams. And then this year, I think they've written it already or they are yet to write it. How do you know that it's like NDC? They are full of double standard. NDC is full of double standard. I will never insult the president like what the NDC ministers and then MPs does, like Honorable Sam George during opposition insulted the current president Nanado, like just a show like this. I will never do that. But then what I'm trying to say is that the NDC has not done anything better for the country that should that would allow them to go for a third term, or that would allow them to increase the presidential tenure from 4 years to 5 years. Why should citizens then wait for extra 1 year to vote out a bad governance, a bad government? Like you notice that there is this government is performing very bad, and then people are eager to vote the government out, and then you are now saying that they should wait an extra year. So would that extra year help the government to be successful in all their deliverance? Do you think it will help them? No. Basically, no. 4 years, President Mahama has been in government for 10 years. Has been a president. If he finishes this term, it means he has been a president for 10 years. Hope you know that. And then 7 years, 6 years. That was the 2 years when he was the vice president, and then late Professor Mills died, and then he became the president. Plus the 4 years he spent from 2012 to 2016, he became a president. So President Mahama knows the problem that Ghana is facing. When he was in opposition, he had solutions to every problem. He had solutions to every problem. So I don't understand why now that he has come into power, he's saying that he wants to increase it from 4 years to 5 years. Now 4 years next one. When President Mahama was in opposition, what he said was that according to President Mahama, I'm quoting, he said, "It is not about how long you serve." He said it is not about how long you serve. So why then does he want to extend it now? If so, with this, I can conclude that President Mahama is a double principle or standard person. With this, what he said.
Right. Let me read this to you. So government has backed a proposal to extend the presidential and parliamentary term limits from 4 to 5 years. And this was announced by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, in July, which was last month. And the reform aims to reduce the constant election cycle and give administrations more uninterrupted time to govern. And 5 years for both the president and members of parliament. And the current 4-year term leaves the early month lost to transition tax and the final year consumed by active campaigning. This was what it actually said. And it also continues to read that President John Dramani Mahama will not benefit from or have his current term extended by the proposed 5-year term limit. The proposed constitutional reforms affect his administration and future governance in the following ways, because the constitutional amendment requires a national referendum, which is scheduled for 2027, which is next year, and it cannot be applied retroactively to an ongoing presidency. President Mahama's current term, which began on January 7, 2025, remains strictly fixed at 4 years and will conclude in January 2028. So that should tell you that President Mahama is not even included in this.
Yes.
Do you get it now?
But the point I'm also raising here is that we're in Ghana when people sent petition to the Supreme Court to clarify the terms of office so that President Mahama can go for a third term. Did you hear that news?
I heard that news.
You heard that news.
And what I want you to equally know about this is that the processes it actually takes to amend all of this is not something that is actually simple just like that. So let me read it to you. So under the current 1992 Constitution of Ghana, President Mahama cannot legally run for another term because he's already serving his second term and final elected term. So under Article 66 Clause 2 of the Constitution, strictly limits individuals to a maximum of 2 presidential terms, despite some public advocacy has said. President Mahama has publicly stated that he has no plans to seek a third term and will fully respect the constitutional limit. And if any administration were to theoretically attempt to alter the rules to allow a third term, it will require a highly complex legal process to amend an entrenched provision of the Constitution. And these are the processes. The Constitutional Amendment Process, Article 290, states, Council of State referral. The amendment bill must first be submitted to the Council of State for consideration and advice. The bill must be published in the Government's Gazette, and Parliament cannot introduce the bill until a full 6 months have passed after its Gazette publication. And because of presidential term limits are an entrenched clause, the public must vote on the amendment. The referendum must meet 2 strict thresholds to pass. At least 40% of all registered voters in Ghana must cast a vote. That means that 40% of all registered voters right there in the country must vote, and at least 75% of those who vote must vote in the favor of the change. And if the referendum passes, Parliament must formally vote on and pass the amendment bill. So that should tell you that I actually didn't want to state this by head, so it's going to look as if I'm going on an argument with a guest. That is why I took my time and read this to you. And if you should understand this better, this is actually telling us that the president cannot in his willpower decide that he wants to go on a third term. We the voters as well have that right to vote that if he should be allowed to go on a third term or not. Just as we had the privilege and the right to vote for the people we want them to lead the country. That is why we voted, and people voted for President Mahama to lead the country and booted Nana Addo out. So the onus still lies on us as the citizens if we want it or not, and not President Mahama. Even if he says he wants to go for a third term, it lies on you and I to vote. People will vote against it. People will vote for it. And that lies on the citizens. So we shouldn't make it look as if President Mahama has the ultimate and the willpower to say that I want to go on a third term, and it just happens like that.
Yes, but with what we are discussing today, if I should get things right, to clarify certain things I said and then to reframe it, I would say that this is not something between this is not something about Mahama or the MPP or Mahama and Baumia. It's about the constitution. But don't you think reframing this, or don't you think changing this constitution can weaken the safeguards that protects the two-term tenure of the presidency in Ghana? I'm not basing it to President Mahama or any other president. But don't you think this will weaken the safeguard, that is the safeguard about the constitution pertaining to 2 terms for presidency and then parliamentarians?
How?
Because that has been enshrined in the law, in the constitution, that these things should not be amended anyhow. And then there will be implications, because this will give a good government longer time to serve and deliver more. That's the same way that this 5-year term will also give a bad governance longer time to destroy the country very well. So what if, let's put NDC aside and then let's bring another.
You just said that to destroy the country more. So that means that if your subsequent flag bearer comes, automatically they're going to destroy the country.
No, that's what I said now was that let's put NDC and MPP aside, and then let's base it to the constitution. So I'm not talking about any political party.
Right.
So I'm saying that this will help this thing that they are bringing, this 5-year term, if it is being accepted and then start to legally rule in Ghana, it will help a ruling government who is delivering very well to deliver more. What if Ghana is being in a circumstance whereby we have a bad governance, and then we still have a 5-year term? Don't you think it will also give that governance a time or a chance to also destroy the country very well?
That is why the onus lies on us that in the next term, when it's coming, we vote and boot that person out.
But don't you think the citizens are going to wait for extra long?
Which is the
extra year. But my point is that the point I'm raising here is that they gave 2 factors, saying that it's because of election and then transition.
Election, transition, and government not able to finish their project on time.
So do you think adding an extra year to the 4 years is going to increase, is going to let the government, the sitting government, be extra successful? Is that what you think? Do you think that extra year being added to the 4 years will let them boom, will let them yield very, very well, like
as
even if
enrich themselves rather than enriching the citizens?
Yes. Do you think that's what will happen? No, because 4 years scramble went to make you and find your. Okay, let me even say 8 years, because parties have been basically being 8 years. Or past 4 years went to man find your. Now 1 year they become amount and a baby amount. I'm not sure. If 4 years or 3 years you couldn't use it for anything for the country, how sure are you say 1 year they come amount? You can be very productive for the country.
So that means that you are not in agreement with the additional year that
I'm not in agreement with it. I'm not in agreement with it.
It will still go to Parliament, and if they are going to agree on that,
and then there will be a referendum, though, right? So let's see what Ghanaians will say, because the final power lies in Ghanaians.
Yeah, the final power actually lies in Ghanaians. So I think we've had that clarified.
Yeah.
That President Mahama does not actually have the willpower to decide that
definitely
he wants to go on a 3rd term. So I think that'll be it. But why are you filing for a petition? Because we've not heard the man saying that he wants to go for a 3rd term, and this is actually a fresh petition from your government.
Yes. The man has not. The president himself has not said he wants to go for a 3rd term.
He's interested in going for.
But
a 3rd term.
The petition that was filed wasn't filed against the president's words.
But was it filed against?
The petition was filed challenging the 3rd term agenda that people have sent to the Supreme Court for clarification. Do you understand? So not like we are going against the words of the president. And then, but the president has not even said anything about him going for a 3rd term. That's what people have. That's that people have sent to the Supreme Court for clarification. And then Ghana, anything can happen. So they filed this fresh suit so that they will know the implications of it. And then of it, I stated about two. That a long term will give a good government more time to deliver, whereas a long term can also give a bad government more time to destroy the country very well. Secondly, why should the citizens wait for an extra year to vote out a party which is not performing very well, or a government which is not performing very well? Thirdly, or should I even end here?
You can proceed if you have more to say.
It's fine. It's fine.
You are just not in agreement with the whole term limit, the 5-year term limit,
Yes.
of which you think it would
Because
be better for
I think
us
it's
to
not
still
about how
keep it
long
at,
you serve.
4 years.
It's not about how long you serve. I'm quoting what the president said. What President Mama said. What President Mama said is now something I like very well. He said it's not about how long you serve.
It's not about how long you serve. Exactly. We are all in agreement with that. But this is a proposal that was actually made by the Constitutional Review Committee, and government has actually accepted it and backed that. But that is not the final say. It still has to go through a process before it actually does what it does. And I think I agree with what you said, for the fact that, is this not an additional year for other government to come into power and also loot from the states? That's an additional year of looting from the states. Yes.
And then that would even give more chance for the government to for, you see, in every government you have people who engage in illegal activities.
So as it stands now, we are still waiting for the Supreme Court. So the cases are at the Supreme Court as it stands now. We are waiting
case 5,
them,
right?
Yeah, we are waiting for them to interpret the existing constitution and how it's going to effectively affect us as well. Do you have any last words for this particular topic?
Yeah, what I would like to say about this is that Ghanaians should think very well, because if the Supreme Court accept this and then calls for a referendum, and then Ghanaians vote in for this 5-year term, it will cause Ghanaians their own harm, because there will definitely be a time whereby there will be a government who will perform very poorly, and then they would like to put that government out. But then because of the decision that they've made, and then the 4 years now you structure more money. Say you can say you the extra 1 year count, and then I'm going to say 5 years we can post to endorse. So let's add another year. Since Ghanaians have accepted, you only say it's something like be a Ghanaians more pet. Be a Ghanaians more pet. So Ghanaians, I can't decide for Ghanaians, but what I'll tell Ghanaians here now is that Ghanaians should just be cautious. Ghanaians should think very, very well before, when the referendum is being accepted and then passed to us, they make any decision pertaining to this 5-year term agenda.
Right. So that was from Michael Owusu, who is the MPP communicator, and we just closed issue on the MPP suit on presidential term limits, and this has been an additional one that has been added to the already 4 pending cases waiting in the Supreme Court. And the Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Sremsai, disclosed that the number of cases pending before the Supreme Court on Ghana's presidential term limit has risen to 5. And the case all filed against the Attorney General and the Center of the Constitutional Framework governing the tenure and term limits of the President, and which come amid growing debate over proposal to amend aspects of Ghana's constitutional arrangements. And discussion are on board, and they continue over a government paper proposing changes to presidential term limit, a proposal that was accepted in the Constitutional Review Committee report. And according to him, the latest suit to be filed was brought by the New Patriotic Party, bringing the total number of pending cases before the Apex Court on the issue to 5. So as it stands now,
the issue is still pending at the Apex court. So definitely there's going to be a new development on this particular case. But what do you also think? Do you agree that the 1 year is a good course, or you think that the 1 year is equally going to be an additional year to see leaders and also politicians looting from the states? Let me know what you think in the comment section. We're still streaming live on Facebook at GhanaTalks Radio TV, on YouTube at GhanaTalks Radio, and also on X at GhanaTalks Radio. Do well to join us this morning. Send me your comments. Let's get interactive right here on the morning show. At this juncture, we'll be delving into our second topic for discussion, and this is on the matter of jobs, as we already opened the show with jobs for the youth, jobs for the youth, jobs for the youth. And this time around, we are hearing from the Minister for Jobs, which is Mr. Opare Ado. And he's saying that they are looking at launching a care economy program to create 100,000 jobs to the youth. And the government says that it will launch a domestic care economy program next year, which is expected to create about 100,000 jobs for young people. The Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opare Ado, said the government will be implemented. This program will be implemented through the Youth Employment Agency as part of efforts to tackle Ghana's growing youth unemployment problem. And the program, he said, is expected to create jobs in areas such as home care, child care, support for elderly, and other domestic care services. He said, although youth unemployment has increased slightly, Ghana's growing youth population is also putting pressure on the job market. He said the government is implementing several programs to create more employment opportunities and provide young people with decent and sustainable jobs. He expressed confidence that the Care Economy Program, together with other YEA initiative, will help reduce unemployment by the end of President Mohammed's 4-year term. And the key issues is whether the program is actually going to create a long-term and decent jobs rather than a temporary employment opportunities. So this is a new program that the government is actually set to launch, which is the Care Economy, which is set to create about 100,000 jobs to people. And you know what the care economy is about, just as I read. Providing care
to elderly people,
children, such as the nanny, and then all of that, and helping people with disabilities. And this is set to create 100,000 jobs. And do you think that is a temporary job or a permanent job for the people?
That's a question I was asking myself this morning before coming here. That is this care economy, which is this care economy, which is being introduced by the NDC, a temporary something or a permanent something? That's the if my opponent was to be here today, I will ask him that question. That is it a temporary work job or a permanent work? I'm not against jobs, because Ghanaians, we need job. This 100,000 jobs is going to help Ghanaian youth very, very well. But then the questions that are going to pop out from this are a lot. I was watching a video this morning of Osahani Alexander Afenyamarkin, the minority leader of Parliament, who was talking about this care economy by the NDC, who enlightened us on some issues about the care economy. The care economy is a project which is using the funds which was supposed to be pushed into the MPP Kufuor, the free NHIS policy that I brought. So the funds that are supposed to be pushed into the free NHIS policy, and no sasikana that funds na ndemu bi eba free care economy. The care economy is good. It's going to help. It's going to be beneficiary to the youth as jobs, and then also going to be beneficiary to the nannies, like that is very good. But has the government made a way, or let me say, have they prepared something that would train these youth? Because at the there can be sicknesses sickness is a bit attract vulnerable diseases. So if the youth are not trained, how long are they going to train them for these jobs? Because me as a layman who just need jobs, who just need a job, and you are bringing care economy, I need a job, I must go in for it, and they are going to train. How long? How sure are you that they are going to train them very well to tackle these problems such as vulnerable disease that happens in the house? If more stroke, if more rare be.
Yeah, exactly.
How are they going to? How is someone who is not inclined to that sector about those health sector, but then find that himself in that position as a care economy worker? How are those people going to operate? And then is the 100,000 that they are saying a real target? Because in NDC for they will know what they can do. NDC for a promise CSA on Bay 24 economy. You see Adana market. NDC for a promise. A promise is on baby 10,000 jobs. We heard this. Malik Basantali recently said they've done it. I don't know, say we're from meaning baby, but that's what they are saying. These NDC people, they can deceive us. So if they are going to do this policy, implement it very, very well, and then let these then generate 100,000 jobs for the youth, yeah, I don't have any problem with it. But the question I asked was that the people who are going in for the jobs now, how well are they going to train them to tackle those vulnerable diseases with the nannies and then the children who are going to be taken care of?
Right. So what if training is being given to these people, as in to be a requirement before you are given the job?
Then that is good, but this is where the question comes in. They have they said they are going to implement it next year, that is 2027, right?
Yes.
And then it means they have very short time.
They didn't give a specific timeline, but they said they were going to implement it before President Mahama leaves back.
Oh, but yesterday I read something was talking about 2027.
2027.
Yes.
Okay.
So
what I have here, it didn't give a specific timeline.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But basically we are almost done with 2026, which means they cannot implement it this year.
Yes, obviously.
So definitely next year.
But who knows? Maybe it's achievable.
100,000 jobs.
100,000 jobs.
In about 3 months left to 2027.
You think it's not achievable?
No.
Right.
So when they start next year and they start doing it, the training time, the time that people will use, that people will be trained, it could take for about 6 months, 7 months, because you can't use a week or a month to train someone for this job.
Yeah.
These 6 months to 7 months or 5 months, no, you be free no for election.
Do you think that the government should actually make it a collaboration between nurses and also just ordinary people to train these people or give this channel to nurses? Because we have a backlog of nurses who are equally home waiting to be posted to hospitals. And it sort of look like this job actually aligns with them, if you ask me.
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to even say before you said it is that these things, instead of them giving these jobs to laymen who are just in need of employment, why don't they give it to nurses who are in the house and then unemployed? Nurses who have completed, have the knowledge about caring, nursing, but then because of facilities, they are unemployed. And then even with the facilities, there are facilities over there, but the NDC is failing to commission them and then start using them. Like I saw a post talking about some hospitals. I've forgotten the names though, but my phone, I'm on live, so I cannot check it now. But there are some hospitals where the MPP built, and then they are there now. They have not been commissioned by the NDC.
Are they fully equipped?
They are fully equipped. Political Mavis, I don't know if you know her.
I know her.
Yes, she went there.
I don't know her personally, but
you know who she is. Post. Yes, she went there with MC Ishmael, and then they took videos of the place, and then I think that's all. The lights, everything is there. So the government.
You are very sure that there's no problem, no irregularities, no issues with the contractor or any third party.
According to what I saw,
why these hospitals have been.
And then it's not only one. It's not only one. There are a lot. So if the government thinks there is
and you don't know the specific hospital,
and I've forgotten the name.
Is it the Afari?
No, Afari is in Kumasi. That one, let's put that one. Even that one, I think it's part. But then there was an issue pertaining to it, so let's put that one aside. There was different clinics and hospitals where I didn't list them, sorry, but I'll get them, where there is nothing going on over there. But I think if the government, maybe even if because of different reasons, the government is not using the hospitals, then this opportunity, this economic opportunity that have come, no, they shouldn't give it to laymen. They should give it to people who have the knowledge, who are inclined to that side, like the nurses who are home.
Right.
Even teachers. I'm sure in a way teachers can help.
How will the teachers help with
yes,
something like that?
Because when you go to schools, even universities, we have teachers who teach nursing. If you get what I'm saying. The fact that you are not a nurse working in the hospital doesn't mean you don't have knowledge about it. You might go to school to learn something about. You might go to school to learn accounting, but you don't decide to be an accountant in the bank. You decide to be an accounting teacher, right? That's the same way you can go to school to learn about nursing and then not be a nurse, but then teach nursing in schools or something.
That means you can equally be an accountant at the market as well, because at the beginning of the show you were like, the market.
Would I do it?
Will you do
I'll
it?
not do it. I'll not do it.
Then you can be an accountant in the market.
I'll not do it. In the market, if it was to be a factory like markets, yeah, fine. But it shouldn't be like a market whereby you have just one provision shop, 2, 3 provision shops, and then they are telling me to go and do accounting for these people.
Why? What's so bad about it?
It's not like it's bad, but then people are aiming high. And then these things.
But you can start on that level.
You can start on that level. Thank you very much. But then, do you think those people will need qualified accountants to come and work for them? Whilst you, as a provision seller in a shop, you can make your own allocation of resources. You can account for your own. Do you think you'll hire another person? Will you hire another person to work?
So one
there?
person, and you have a big provision shop, and you think you should
when
be the
it's
one
a supermarket,
to manage everything.
When it's supermarkets, they are fine. They are fine. But the markets, yet we've all not seen the market that they've built. But then, according to what they are saying, no, this is what I can deduce from it.
And you think it's not going to create jobs?
Oh, for the jobs it's going to create. I'm not saying it's not going to. But then what I'm saying is that will it be beneficiary to every youth? Because the 24-hour economy, according to the promise that they gave us, was that ye be a 24-hour economy juma, I'm a youth be a 133. And then wait too. So if they open provision shop or boja, tomatoes and pepper, how would it run in 12 o'clock a.m.? How would this one run in 12 o'clock a.m.? Why, in his right senses, will go to the market at 12 to go and buy stuff?
I think people are like that. We have caterers who still work overnight.
How many percentage of that in all Ghana has?
Oh,
like how when you go to market on weekdays daytimes, when you see how you see people in the market, you can't compare that same time to how you see them in midnight, like plenty of buying. Even it will even lead to theft. What security reasons have they put in place for that?
Right. So when it comes to job, you happen to be a youth. What do you think the government can actually do better to give you jobs?
Okay. So the government can create a lot of jobs, by building more of industries or factories for the youth, because it's like you say, courses are by investing in the one industry to honor ubet courses ejuma opportunity like courses ejuma about 20 or 30 and then that would help. But then if the government is building jobs though, and I'm not against that. What I'm saying is that beneficiary to Obiana? If you see senior percon like the bank don't you think this bank could take about hundreds of youth? That will bonus 24-hour economic market. How income can you compare it to bank? How can you tell me that a civilized country, a well-developed country, would demolish a bank to build a market? This action, I don't know if there has been any clear explanation about this there, but me, I don't buy into that knowledge.
You don't buy into that knowledge. What would you say to the youth that are looking for jobs, and what would you say to the government?
Yes, so with the youth that are looking for the job, I would say that what is happening in Ghana, when you say you are going to focus on what the government is doing, then you lie bad. You have to make something for yourself. Start your own business, because there have been people who have started their own businesses and then they are working out for them by starting small. But then what we are seeing is that the government should also support. Because
how the government supports
yes,
petty entrepreneurs? How does the government?
The government can create subsidies for them
Like how much?
Reduce cost, their cost. Some people produce, those who are into production but small scale. The government can subsidize things for them. The government can give them tax holidays, just a way to support them. You get it? And then in that way, and then I think there should be this one summits. Once, maybe twice or thrice in a month for youth in Ghana. I had a bit trauma, nyama, because this year if the youth say they are only basing or they are basing specifically on white collar jobs, they are going to Omebre. And then now that the government is even building markets there, how would you say you want a white collar job at the market? No. So it's the youth should also support themselves, build themselves, so that the government can also push them. But I'm not going to condemn the government for this. Building of jobs, creation of jobs is good for every economy. But then they should make sure that the jobs that they are building is beneficiary to every youth that you find yourself. Every course or program that you find yourself.
Right. My last question, I hope it is, why does the youth actually discourage or look down or undermine informal jobs?
You see, when we were kids, we saw people driving big cars, and then at that time, the mentality that was put into our head was that nipa we a banker or a bank manager, nipa we or a mine, so like you see those kind of jobs. And some marketmen even have money more than those who are still in office.
Exactly.
So it's up to you to get that knowledge.
Yes. So I think the youth should be encouraged to go into the informal sector more, even more than
like the agricultural part. Me myself, I plan to enter into poultry maybe when I'm done with university, or maybe start doing my tenure in university. Right. To enter into poultry
and also learn skills.
Yes, that's what the youth also feel. Sometimes the blame shouldn't be put on only Ghanaians, but then the youth. You saw what happened in last Saturday, KFC.
Yes.
They said they were doing promotion. You look at like the youth that went across the whole regions in Ghana. Look at the youth that went over there.
Yeah, it's so sad.
They are making it seem as if people who work from different countries. I have friends from Canada who are saying that why is Ghana so poor. I was like, how? Like, look at how people are rushing to get.
That is our attitude. That is our nature.
But the youth should desist from it, and then you see, like this should send something to the government that on share the SC Saturday. You know, what the youth are doing. It means the youth are coming to I'm more bread. Use normal bread. The government should say something. Use normal bread, because now can come in demia. If you are not hungry, how would you pick car 5 cities and go to KFC just to buy food 15 cities?
But if so the money that you use for the transportation, can't you rather keep it and use to buy the food rather than going to? Because there are equally people who went to purchase the food for 15 cedis and they are going to sell it to somebody else for 50 cedis.
So people are like that.
So I feel like it's no hunger, but it is our attitude. That is our nature as Ghanaians. That you need the food there. I was before you be okay. So I think that, and yes, I like a comedy, but it is our attitude. That is our nature.
Yes,
that is our nature.
That's what I'm saying, that there should be summits, like educational summits.
Yeah.
So that the youth would also be educated.
The youth has actually refused to learn. The youth is undermining and disregarding informal job. See, people are making it over there. Learn a skill when you come out from SHS. Me, for my siblings, all of them, we've all learned a skill. The last one is coming now. She will learn a skill. Learn a skill, because that is the money that is going to take you to and push you to where you actually want to get to. If you want to get into the formal sector, you can get there. But learn a skill, because working for somebody, that person can just come for the job and then that's it.
And then do you know one thing that is also discouraging the youth from learning and entering into the agricultural sector? Now we've seen what is happening in Ghana now about the cocoa prices. Cocoa prices, share nuts, those rice, and then or northern part, those who are into cocoa and then nuts. No, you've seen what is happening. So the youth they are discouraged. Say, if I even enter into cocoa farm in Kampala, at the end of the month, Brahma brain I'll just get a little amount of money. And yes, that was the price that has been reduced. So that's also discouraging them from entering into that sector. In some white collar job, white collar job now, at least promotions, and then from the way they've developed the habit of speaking and stuff, they can push them. And prevent them from going for that side now. Right. The prices of cocoa that has been reduced by the NDC government is also a factor.
That will be a question for another day, or that will be an issue for another day. This has been the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Thank you so much for joining us. But before we leave, Mr. Awusu, do you have any last words?
Yeah, I would like to greet certain people.
Okay.
I would like to greet Political Kofi. He is called Political Kofi, also a solid communicator for the MPP and MPP at Jaman South, who communicates over there, and then also a student of UCC. Political Mavis, MC Ishmael, and my mom, who is also watching me now. And then also like to thank everyone who watched and then listened to this news, and then also try to let the youth understand that development starts from our own self, and then the government should also learn from whatever that is happening. And then among Jai said among form abansi kano, especially what is happening at Gold Board currently. Yesterday I made a video on this, and then I've not checked the post though, but then what's happening at Gold Board, where there is a loss of a subsidiary loss of $214 million in Gold Board, of which Bishop or Darky Ward Mills or so, Duncan Williams is saying that it needs prayers now. Maybe the devil is tempering it. There is no devil. It's the government. It's a nipa. The devil cannot interfere into our gold system. A nipa. So if anything will happen, we are supposed to blame the humans, not the government or not the devil. Yeah. If I
ask you to prove that right now, you'll be unable to. So I won't even ask. Thank you so much for joining us right here on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. We'll come your way same time tomorrow. Do have a lovely